everyone, and welcome to Divinely Empowered with Antonia. Today, we have an update from Lise. Now, Lise, you might remember, had pretty profound results, and we did the ECR, the Energetic Cellular Regeneration, on her a few months back in June. What did you say, July? June.
June.
We did it in June, and then she had a video which went down a storm because she had such extreme, amazing results. So we're back today with her blood work. And we have Els, who is one of my advanced practitioners, who's also a medical doctor, because Lise has gone and got blood work done and hormone levels and various different medical things, which I need Els to interpret because she's a doctor and she understands these things she understands these things. I don't have a medical degree, so it's better that we have someone with a degree who understands these things, who can talk to you about it in a learned way, and she can explain to me and also to Lise what's happened. But hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so welcome and thank you very much for being here, ladies. And let's just start with Lise. Why don't you tell us how you've been for the last few months?
Well, I'm having the best summer ever. I've been back to my favorite thing, which is cycling, and I've been doing some major bike rides. Now I'm doing about 30K average every other day. I've picked up pickleball.
So let's break that down just for a second. So you're 59 years old, and before we did the Energetic Cellular Regeneration system, you were not able to cycle. What was the before and the after? Just to give a bit of a recap.
Well, most of my life I've always cycled, and I would say 2 years ago I would go out cycling, and I would be, if I did any type of like major cycling, I'd be on the couch for like a week to 2 weeks. Like I was starting to have some energy level issues, and then last year I didn't even take out my bike. It was just not even an option to have the energy to actually go out for a bike ride. And after my session with you, about a week and a half after having a session with you, I was feeling so good, so energetic. I thought, you know what, I think I can go bike riding again. So I took out my bike, filled it up with air, started to cycle. I was just going to do like a 5K around around my little town, which is 5K, and I just kept going. Instead of turning to come go around, I kept going and going and
Hang on, we've lost her. 1 second.
She's going. She took her bike.
I'm so sorry, I lost you for a moment. So you were too busy cycling. You were going around and around. Tell us again.
No,
sorry.
The plan was just to go around my town. That was the plan. But I felt good, so I thought I'll go the next half mile. So because I live in a farming community, so everything is half miles. So I thought I'll just keep going to the next one, and I just kept going and going. I ended up in the next town. I took my bike at 7 o'clock at night, so it was never meant. It was never meant to be a long bike ride, and it was just to you get saddle sore. You don't want to go out a big ride. Well, I ended up in the next town. I'm like, I have to turn around because, it's getting dark. I don't have the proper reflective clothing. It was just supposed to be like a 20-minute ride, and it ended up being over an hour. But I ended up doing, I think, like over 10K. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I came back, and then the next day, I wasn't sore. I should have been very, very sore after that. My bum, everything, because on those little bicycle seats. And then that was like, there was no turning back. Every second day I was cycling. I thought I got to pace myself a little bit here. And then the alternate days I was walking. I started 10,000 steps, pardon me, not 10K, 10,000 steps. And I'm like, that's not enough. I need to keep going, because I was just like full of energy. And I will say that I was not taking anything for my energy levels. I did not need it. Can you imagine me on coffee? Oh my gosh. So I know. So I was doing like 20,000 steps. I'd walk in the morning, I'd walk in the evening. and then I'd be running, doing errands. And I mean, I was just go, go, go. So, and then with that, I mean, I'd go to bed, I'd sleep really good. I'd hit the pillow, fall asleep, wake up the next morning, and start all over again. And so now I used to do a lot. Like, I mean, my average, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would do like a 42-kilometer loop. I would do like certain villages surrounding my town, and I had a loop. I didn't do it this year. I thought I'd cut back, so I only go to this one, which is like 30K. And if I do all the streets, I'll do about 35. And I've got a little odometer on my bicycle, and my bike is quite old. It's probably 40 years old, so it's a really heavy duty mountain bike. But I'll do the. I love cycling so much. We're in the prairies; it's flat, so I go in the ditches. So I'm doing mountain trails. I'm going alongside the river. I'm just having a blast. Like,
And you're playing a lot of pickleball, aren't you?
oh yeah, I just picked that up.
Fast.
Yeah, I did 10 hours last week. I have to cut back though. I think it's a bit much, but I'm very competitive. I really like I like fast action stuff. So I'm really getting good at pickleball now.
But before we did this session, you but didn't have very much energy. What was going on before you were this active?
Well, I just saw myself progressing, getting lower and lower in energy. I'd wake up in the morning exhausted. I'd go from the bed, and then I'd go on to the couch and basically watch videos, do stuff on the iPad, catching shows like you. And well, actually, I found you through Tarot by Janine, and then from Tarot by Janine, I got onto Honey Sea Golden. Really liked a lot of the stuff that she was putting out. Then I kind of got introduced with Lisa.
Yeah.
And then I found you, I think, in March. And I watched your videos, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're a little too good to be true. Like, what? No, but what you say is bananas. Like, it's like, how can this be? How can this be? And I work, well, no, but you see a lot of people making claims, and you kind of go, is this real? And you were just so confident, like you were just like. So then I saw the video of you and Lisa with the finger accident, and I worked at a hospital, so I'm familiar with healing and everything else, what it's involved, the stages, and I'm like, when fingers go necrotic, there's no going back. And and I saw Lisa's fingers. I think in February they were all bandaged up, or I don't know. I don't know what her dates are, but
yeah, she did it end of January, beginning of February. Yeah.
Yeah. So in February, I remember seeing her fingers bandaged up, but she didn't mention it. I mean, she was doing her interviews, and then I saw the interview with you, and then of course, every once in a while she'd flash her fingers, and they were not bandaged, and they were not black. And again, when you go to necrosis, that's dead. That doesn't come back. That was pretty phenomenal. But I still didn't do your divine empowerment, because I mean I don't have any fingers that are black. I couldn't relate to.
Thankfully.
It was pretty amazing, but it's just like I didn't quite relate to that. So then and then you were doing some other testimonials, and then it was like Karen being premenopausal, a lot of her symptoms I could really relate to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I waiting for? Like if she can do that with fingers, why am I waiting? And then so then and of course took advantage of while your rates were a little bit low. And I mean, like I've talked about this in the previous video, as a Canadian, one British pound sterling is $1.75 for us, so it's almost it's almost double. However, best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did. I know.
And you were spending how much a month? Was it $600 a month? What was it?
Oh,
Said that, yeah.
well, I was doing the BHRT, so a consult with a nurse practitioner, because the doctors will not do BHRT, which is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. They just do the synthetic, and I'm thinking I don't want that. I think that's more my belief. I just want to be clear on that. Is I want something as close to natural as possible. So I had to see someone else. I couldn't see a medical doctor for that. I had to go to a nurse practitioner, and her consult was $350, and I'd have to go every 3 months. That was $350 plus then the medication for 3 months, because I would get a 3-month supply, was like $700. You know, and then I was seeing. She was a pharmacist, but she did integrative medicine, so she believed in supplements. So then I was seeing her, and she put me on $500 worth of supplements for thyroid issues.
How long did that last you? 3 months again?
No, that was a month. That was a month. Oh yeah.
That's serious.
And I didn't even buy everything she recommended. I mean, I just thought it was nuts, you know? So, I mean, let's be honest, $500 every single month for supplements, like, you know? So I think I did like $400. But I mean, I was still struggling to get well, and I wasn't getting well. So,
yeah, so it works out about $600 a month all in with all your consultations and everything else. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was very expensive. So, I mean, this was a bargain.
Well, because it's been, you know, since June, so July, August, September, October. So you've had it for 4 months. So you had one big outgoing, and now you've been feeling like you did years ago. Do you feel like you did like 10 years ago, or what would you say it was?
I would say, yeah, you know, I think it's just the recovery part that is so wonderful. Like when I play pickleball, you know, it's kind of a game like tennis, but a little bit on the slower pace, you know, like it's the speed of badminton, but like tennis. And I mean, I go for things, like I'm diving, I'm running all over the place. I'll do whatever it takes to get that ball over the net, you know, very competitive that way. I don't know if you've picked that up from my personality, but I'm pretty sore. I'm like really sore at the end of the day. I mean, sometimes I get a soak in a bath, and I mean, a week and a half ago, I played 4 hours on Sunday. I played 2 hours on Tuesday, 2 hours on Wednesday, 2 hours on Thursday. And on Wednesday, I was just like, I don't think I can come back. You know, I was so sore by the end of Wednesday, I could barely serve anymore. I recovered the next day. Like I find like I've got accelerated healing. Like I'm sore. I'm like, you know, hobbling to bed. The next morning I wake up, it's like, okay, let's do this again. Like seriously. So I sent you a picture, and I apologize, but the first picture I didn't do. I got hit with the ball on my knuckle, holding a paddle, and it left a really purple black bruise. Okay. Didn't hurt that much, but you know what? It left quite a bruise. The next day I wake up and I go, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Like it's gone down. It's you can see the healing already. The third day, it's just a shadow. Like it's barely there. Like this is, and I only took pictures 24 hours and 48 hours afterwards. But 48 hours, you can barely tell it's even there. And I'm like, this is really accelerate, and this explains why I can punish myself, you know, cycling or pickleball. And I'm sure, Els, you're probably saying someone with thyroid issues should not be doing that. But you know what? I feel good the next day, and I go, well, let's just keep doing it.
But you don't have thyroid issues anymore.
I don't think so.
No.
Let's get to that. Let's talk about this stuff. Okay, so you suspect that you had Hashimoto's disease, right?
Yes.
So that was what you suspected, and actually we've had Els look at the blood work. Els, would you like to talk on that, please?
Yeah, the thing is that she had medication for thyroid because it was very low. So you when you start with medication for the thyroid, you have to build it up very slowly because your body reacts. You get palpitations, you get very overactive, so you have to adjust, and it takes some months to get on the right dosage for the medication. And that what you didn't say is that you had the session with Antonia and you stopped all your medication all of a sudden. You said, I'm not going to do it anymore. So you stopped with your medication for the thyroid. You stopped whatever you were taking and the supplements. So as a doctor, I would say this is very irresponsible. Don't do it that way. And what you would expect if you quit you stop your thyroid medication, you would go very low. You were very, very tired, and because all of a sudden you don't have the medication that activates you, and you stop it, so you get very low. But your story is that you were very energetic and you go to cycling and the pickleball, whatever. So your story can't be true, in fact. It's like the finger of Lise. As a doctor, I would say rubbish, can't be done. But then I look at the numbers.
You're not my doctor. Looking for one, though.
You prove me wrong. But I must say, everybody who's looking at this video, don't do it Lisa's way, because it is irresponsible. And Lise proves us wrong, but she must have had a very strong intrinsic motivation by stopping it. I don't know what you did, but it's sort of Lisa finger miracle story. And I must emphasize to people, don't do it this way. You have to
do it gradually, because the thing is, I think, look, the ECR is doing miraculous things to most of the people. Some people are a bit more of a slow burn, and it really depends on what's going on in their body in the first place. Like, I'm getting a lot of things on my face, and I'm noticing lines dissipate quite often. And, and actually, I think Lisa's face has changed quite a lot as well. I think your face is looking younger too. It looks like you've had some work, to be honest. Which is fantastic, which I know you haven't, but it looks like you have. So, but some people, I think her intuition was very strong, which told her that she was able to do this. This was not something that I would ever recommend. In fact, it could invalidate my license. It's really a very serious thing. And no one in any medical field would tell anyone to do that. The advice is to come up gradually under a doctor's supervision. That's what I have to legally say. And that's what I would say, because actually it is kamikaze. But that's what Lise did. And, and anyone else who is thinking about having an ECR session, that's my advice for everyone else as well. If you feel that you're ready to do it, you have to consult the doctor, and you come off gradually under your doctor's supervision. That's what, because that's not something we're taking responsibility for, and is safe in any way to be doing it. It's illegal. But that's the sort of stuff that gets people like me thrown in jail. So it's a very serious thing, and it invalidates my insurance. Is the most important thing about it. Invalidates my insurance. So I cannot tell anyone to do that. It would invalidate anyone medical's insurance. However, that's what Lise did, and it's blimmin' miraculous, because what should have happened, which Els is getting to, is you should have been absolutely on your knees. And actually, what was really interesting, and I know you told us this in the previous video, Lise, you ran out in February. You ran out of your thyroid stuff, and then you were on your knees. You were exhausted, weren't you, last time?
Yeah. It was in March. I had come back from Mexico. Well, sorry for correcting you, but
that's all right.
I ran out. The nurse practitioner who was treating me, she went on her honeymoon, and I had told her, like, I'm going to run out. Let's get this done. So I went for my lab results. The lab results didn't come in. She ended up getting married, which is congratulations for her, but left me in a lurch. So I ended up without the BHRT and the meds for a week before I could get, like, it takes a few days. The BHRT was coming from a pharmacy in Ontario, and I live in Manitoba, central Canada. So there was a few days delay. And with that night, being off the progesterone, the estradiol, and I forget what the other, I was taking 3 things. Sorry, it's been a while since I've taken them. Oh my God, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the restless night, I couldn't sleep anymore, came back in an instant. And she had me on 400 milligrams of progesterone. Like, that's a lot. And coming off of that, like, cold, like, just one day, and then the next day, it hit me hard. And after the Energetic Cellular ECR, I came off of it and I had none of that, like none. And you know, maybe it was irresponsible, but I did feel really good. I will say. I mean, I felt.
You could feel it. You just felt the surge of energy immediately, and then
I did, and my thinking was, let's just do this. Let's just do this.
you went all in.
I went all in, and the
Indeed.
thing is, it's not like they did. Like I still have the pills from April. I mean, I still have them. They're still in the cupboard. I've not had to go back to them. That's the thing. I mean, I could. What if after a week it would have come back? Well, I had that option to go back on the medication.
Yeah.
So, but I felt so good. I mean, it's very hard. I said this before. I feel fantastic. I went out for a walk yesterday with my friend. She goes, "How are you?" I feel fantastic. I mean, I feel really good. Like every day is my answer, you know? So, except at the end of the day, when I'm really sore and tired.
Because you've done like the exercise that a 20-year-old might dream of doing. I mean, that's where you're at.
Well, that's why I feel like it's like, you know, at first I said like 20 years because to bounce back, you know, when you're young, you work really hard, you feel really sore, you go back to bed, you go, okay, let's do this again. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
I feel like I could be a frat boy. It's hilarious because even if I like do a load of exercise, go out drinking, don't get much sleep, I can still wake up and go train the next day. It's hilarious. It's literally like I'm at college and I've got that sort of energy and that sort of, you know, bounce back. It's quite profound how quickly and how easily. I mean, right now I'm slightly in the thick of it because I'm downloading the stuff for level 13. But normally if I was downloading, I'd be completely exhausted and pretty much bedridden at this point. And I'm fine. You know, I'm like a little bit, but 10% of what I'm used to. You know, it's quite profound.
And I agree with you 100. That's how I feel too. I mean, it's whether I get a lot of sleep, you know, from being tired or like not much sleep. Like I can go to bed. I don't go to bed late, but let's say one day I went to bed at midnight. I woke up still at 5:30 and I went on all day. I mean, it's not like
I do that.
It matters. It doesn't.
I did it. I just drove to London as well on Thursday and it was, I need to plug my charger in. I might need my charger. I think it's in the kitchen. Lise, can you bring my charger for my laptop, please? Thank you. So I drove to London and I thought, you know what? This is like a 6-hour drive. I didn't make any evening plans because I just thought I'm going to be absolutely exhausted. I don't want to see anyone after I've driven. And I had to go and set up a trade show and check into an Airbnb. And I just thought, you know what? No, I'm just not going to do anything. And I got there. I was an hour outside London. I was like, I feel great. I was listening to some music and I was having some fun. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I felt absolutely fantastic. And I started ringing people and saying, who wants to hang out? And I ended up going out for dinner and having a lovely time. And I just have, you know, and normally doing a 6-hour drive and then all the other things as well would be absolutely exhausting. And I've just got energy that I just haven't had. And I haven't had for a long time. It's just, I have more hours in the day and more days in the week because I need less sleep, which ends up, you know, and then I like the bandwidth stuff of switching tasks because that's one thing that changes as you get older, like going from doing laundry to emails to videos to all the different things to cooking to whatever. It's normally like it takes you a while to sort of be able to get into the next task or to be, you know, or you're just too tired and you're just like, oh, and it's just, or train a lot. I'm doing loads of exercise as well at the moment. And it's just such a revelation. It's amazing.
You know what you said is exactly it. It's exactly it. You had to get motivated to do some of the basic stuff. And now it's just like, go, 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 go. One day, okay, now I pushed this a little too far. I went for a bike ride in the morning.
Too far?
I did the bike riding. Then I did the walking. Then I did skip rope. Then I did the weights. And then I got into trouble. So I was actually, I will say that I was in pain for a couple of days. I had a friend, Marco. He signed up on some of the courses. And And then he had to do an adjustment on me. But then I was just like, okay, there I go, back cycling, I'm not cycling so much anymore because the weather's changing. It's a little bit cool, and the cycling season is pretty much over. But yeah, I've replaced that with pickleball now. And I'm still walking, but I feel great. And we had family over, and that was one of the other highly motivating things.
Sorry. Sorry.
You are hilarious, Lise.
Welcome to my world. So so in June, I mean, like I said, I was really struggling energetic wise. Motivation was not there. I needed to get my house clean. I had family coming over to stay with us from July 10th to August 24th. And I think I washed like 7 windows on the interior. And then I was on the couch for like a week. Like I was exhausted. That bit of effort, which isn't huge. I mean, we're talking about washing windows. I was flat out, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? So that was another really highly motivating factor. So when I did see Antonia in June, because they were coming in July, I'm like, okay, I got lots of stuff to do. I got all my windows done, the carpets clean, all the furniture, the deck, everything all cleaned up. And then we had them, and I mean, the extra meals, the laundry, the cleaning, the sightseeing, hiking, showing all the touristy spots while they were here visiting. I did it all. And I can't believe everything. Like, that would not have happened before. Like before my session with you, Antonia, that was one day would have been flat on my back for a week. And I did it for, like I said,
how old were the people that you were with?
Sorry?
How old were the people that staying younger? 40s. And you're 59, 30s and 40s. And you kept pace with them quite easily and more.
Probably outdid them, actually.
Yeah, because the thing is, there's one thing doing all the... Sorry?
They had a 14-year-old daughter. So we did a lot of activities with her as well. Like we did a 3-hour hike at Hunt Lake, which was quite difficult. I blame my daughter for that, but let's just say I wasn't the one that petered out.
And then if you think of it on top, you're doing all the touristic things, but also hosting on top. So hosting in and of itself, where people are staying for a month and a half, that's a lot, just having people in your house, and then all the, looking after them and cooking and cleaning and everything else.
The laundry was insane,
Yeah.
And just having a household of people, like
it's stressful and tiring having people in your house, for sure.
Yeah. She'd say, calm, Lise. Because I'd be like, okay, like after supper, okay, let's get the dishes done, load up, and it's just like, just doing so much stuff with them, but I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I mean, I did the best I could, and I think they had a wonderful trip, and you know what? I think it went really well. And I mean, there's no way I could have done that before.
No.
Even with the medication, everything, like it just, that just wasn't going to happen. So yeah, I'm so grateful for the, I mean, I feel great.
All right, let's go on, Els.
You don't take anything. You don't do supplements. Nothing.
You know what? Because I do a lot of pickleball is pretty intense, and it's so I am taking while I'm there in my water bottle. I take electrolytes. So
that's good.
Magnesium, I think potassium and sodium. It's nothing. Like not like before. I do take a few little things. I take sometimes magnesium because of like all the sweating that I do and everything else.
That's good.
Magnesium is wonderful. Taking magnesium.
Yeah. But nothing, like I said, I'm off all the meds. Like that's huge. And I'm off thyroid, everything. Yeah. I mean, it's there, but I haven't needed to take them, which is like really good. And I at this point, it's been 4 months, and I'm only feeling like I'm getting better and better and better, And another thing that was a real problem was my memory. I would drop a conversation. Like I'd start talking, and I'd just drop it. I'm like, I forget what I was going to say. Like it would just I would absolutely go blank mid-sentence, and that hasn't happened in months now,
Yeah,
and
that's
I that
bandwidth,
makes
I think. That's bandwidth, like just forgetting things. It's just that's a bandwidth issue from where I am, and that I've noticed that as well. Or even walking into rooms and forgetting what the hell you're there for, like that doesn't happen in the same way.
yeah, I totally agree. I'm not having that problem. Another thing I noticed, which is actually related to thyroid, I did a bit of research just recently on what the symptoms were, because as you digress into low thyroid, you slide into it, but it's very slow. I would say, Els, like you kind of go, well, like not as much energy. Well, I'm getting older. You kind of just slide into it until to the point where you kind of go, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm no longer the person that I am. But you slide into it and you don't even realize you're having low thyroid issues. So I decided to look it up, what the issues were. And I also noticed, like, some of the things was like the hair loss. Like, I no longer was able to wear mascara because I had no longer eyelashes on my lower eyelids. My voice was becoming hoarse. Like when I would do some meditations, I wasn't able to. My voice would crack. It's not doing that anymore. I have my voice has come back smoother. I'm not going to win any singing competitions. Let's be clear here.
My
But
singing voice
I can certainly tell
improved.
how
My singing voice has improved significantly from doing the ECR, for sure. Much, much better than it used to be. Yours has as well,
Well,
Els.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah,
Yeah, because you're in a choir, aren't you?
I'm in choir. Yeah, but yeah, it's better, and yeah, it's more fun. Yeah.
I tell you, I sing great to the radio in the car. I mean, I'm really good. I mean, I could be a member of Maroon 5 or something. I mean, I don't know if they're looking or anything, but I sound great.
Oh my God, you're just a party. In and of yourself, you're a party, Lise.
Oh, thanks. But, I mean,
What actually? Go on, Els. What results have you had? We've had a lot from Lise. What's your results been? And then we'll go on to the blood work.
What the energetic cellular regeneration did for me, I pronounced it all one. Well, very stable, emotionally, very, very. I can cope with anything. I have more and need less sleep, and if I don't sleep, I'm awake and feel very happy, and not like, oh shit, I can't sleep. Just relaxed, balanced, and I feel very energetic as well. And my age is 68. I'm still working and doing all the things, and yeah, great.
You look great too, Els.
Fit as well. I don't use any medicine at all. I do supplements sometimes. Yeah. Just I think that's good for you, but not special. So I'm great, and yeah, it's for me. It was more slow in the beginning. I had much more energy, and then I made a step, but then it was balanced and very slow. And if I check now, I'm 89 is my number, and I stick to that, and it's good. It's great, in fact.
Crazy.
But I'm not so spectacular as you are, Lise. But
Lise was pretty crazy and like fast. Like she just had the most, extreme results immediately. I think you're probably the most extreme of the people, but it's working on everyone, even if it's more of a slow burn.
Yeah, but very stable. If you are on a certain level, you don't fall back. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
You gain. I gain every now and then a little bit, and then I check, and I know, yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do it. Yeah, I feel better and better and stronger. I mean, I feel like, before we go into the lab results, I mean, the lab results it's just a moment in time, and it's a really good gauge to where you are. But I have no doubt. I mean, I just feel like myself improving, and I'm going to go and do some lab work, I think, again in the spring, after a few months, because I've just had it done probably another, 6 months from August, just to see where I'm at. But I mean, I feel good. I mean, like I said, the lab results tell you one thing, but how you feel is just, I think, a better indicator as to where you're at or where you're headed. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But it's really good to know where you were as you move forward. It's a good baseline.
Being active is the normal now. So you where you were.
Well, the doctor who looked at the lab results, he said, which was a different doctor who had prescribed the lab results, because it was the same clinic but a different doctor. And he looked at me and he says, well, why are you here? And I said, well, I'm having thyroid issues and I just wanted to see, where I'm at and, where my health is at. He says, well, there's nothing here. You're fine. He says, you're doing great. And he looked at my age. He says, well, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And I'm like, okay. Well, I said, I've changed my diet and I just, he says, well, just keep doing what you're doing. He says, yeah, you don't need to come back here. He says, your results are good. And then he had to put the disclaimer at the end. He says, but you should get yourself a doctor. I says, well, I'm looking for one. I says, would you be my doctor? He says, oh, heck no. He says, I'm retired. He said, I just come back and help out the doctor here in the clinic. So I'm like, okay, well, still without a doctor. But what a wizard. I'm doing great. Why are you here? And then the next moment he says, well, he says, you better get yourself a doctor because you are 59 years old. You're going to need one. And I'm thinking, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Alrighty. So should we have a look at the results? I don't know which one's which. I'm going to add them to the stage. Is this one the first one, or that's
in November.
That's November. But which one do we want first? That one? That's the older one. Is there another one after that? Or this one?
Well, that's the good. Well, that one talks about cholesterol.
Or this one. What do you want me to start with?
Well, you can see here a free. You can't see that.
T3, T4,
yeah, and they just check normal. They're in the range, and they were in the range before, and they're still in the range now.
So I think we need to make clear what we're actually discussing here. So basically, Lise was on a lot of medication. She's talked about estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, potentially whatever the hormones were that she's been on in her HRT, and what they were doing was basically giving her hormones to stabilize her hormones. So we're going to be showing the blood work that shows the hormone levels that she's had, and they basically haven't changed, which they should have changed because she's not had the meds. So that's what's interesting about it, is that she's still within the range of being normal, having no longer taking the meds. That's what we're sort of trying to get at. Is that right, Els?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've got these pages.
The numbers are before and after are sort of the same, all within normal, and no big changes at all. And you would expect them to change, and it didn't happen. At least we can't see it in the numbers. It's amazing. So you could ask, all the medicine you took, it's nonsense, but you were telling earlier on, when you were run out of medication, you had all the problems. So they did work, they did do something for you. Mm-hmm. And now you stopped all of a sudden and nothing happened. Or you instead you were very energetic and very balanced. So it's a wonder.
Which one shall I show up on screen? Which one's is this the right one, or do you want the other two?
Well, the other one, there is one from November 2022, and that shows the free T3 and T4, and there are it's this one.
Yeah, I've got the November one here, I think.
Yeah.
What would you like me to do?
Oh, the other one, the first one.
This one, yeah?
No, the before.
This one before. Okay, yeah. Let me pull this one. Hang on a second. At stage this one. Yeah?
No.
Which one?
That's yeah, show me the other one. I'll just look.
Well, there's three.
Yeah.
And the other one is this one. This one?
No.
This one keeps going. There's lots of different pages on it. They've all got lots of pages. This one?
No. It's got a lot. It's this one. I show it.
This one. That's got this one here. That.
No, you had it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have it. Go back. One more.
This one?
That one.
This one?
That one. Yes, that bottom.
Yeah, this one. Here, you have it.
Okay, you're right. Okay, cool.
3 T4 and 3 T3, and you see they're normal. They were. You see 4.1, and the other one is 15. The range is between 11 and 25, 23. I do it without glasses. 15, and the 3 T3 is 4.1, and it's between normal is 3.4 and 5.9. So it's great.
Yeah. And so you think also from her blood work that we've seen before that she had Hashimoto's disease from before. You think that was clear from the blood work? Do you think?
I can't tell that. No, can't see that.
No.
Oh, okay. But you thought that she probably had it. Didn't you say that you thought that she probably had Hashimoto's or not? Or would you not want to say that?
Well, I don't know. Lise tells me she's had Hashimoto, and I think she knows. And with Hashimoto, you get a very high thyroid level, and then all the thyroid you have in store is depleted, and you get very low. So then you need medication to be active. And I find her story that must be true.
Well, and I did
check that.
I'm undiagnosed, but I had a lot of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can stay within the range. Here, I'm trying to show.
Yeah, I still
Stay
have.
within the range, but you could be curving out, but you're still in the range. And like a T3, I'm not sure else, but here, how's my?
Yeah,
You could be still in the range, but going out and one going down, still read normal. But if you have all the symptoms, and that's why it took me so long to figure out what it was. And actually, it was a girlfriend who kind of brought it up to me. Started looking at the symptoms, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is what I'm struggling with. And I had the fatigue, the exhaustion, the lack of motivation, the weight gain, the inability to lose weight. I had
hair loss on
constipation up to like 2-3. I mean, I was always regular before, and then it was like sometimes 5 days. Now I was like every day, like clockwork. Feeling cold, like wearing like long sleeve sweaters. Yesterday I went for a walk. Well, I always walk, but a lady was outside. Now she was wearing a full length light puffer jacket with a scarf. I'm walking with a pair of sweats and a t-shirt, like a short sleeve t-shirt. And I'm like, before I was always cold, like always cold. Yeah. I get in the house and I go, like, what's going on? Like, why is she dressed? And I looked, the temperature was 17 degrees Celsius. And I'm thinking, okay, she might have Hashimoto's, but I'm not going to diagnose her. But I'm thinking, I'm normal now. Like I'm not the crazy one, right? Dry skin, my lower legs. It was like I had dandruff. It was so dry, and I don't have dry skin. These are signs of low thyroid. Blurred vision. Eye spasms is another sign of Hashimoto's. It's not a common one, but it's something that I did some research. Those are things that I struggled with. Like I said, last Friday I went to a restaurant with another couple. Everybody takes out their glasses to read the menu. Not me. Not me. It's moments like that you go, oh, I have them, but I haven't been using them.
Well, you have had all the symptoms from low thyroid function.
Yeah, but I wasn't diagnosed.
Yeah, and if it's Hashimoto or it's other cause of low thyroid function, doesn't matter. You had the medication to be active and function, and then you stopped and nothing happened. That's the main thing we have to emphasize. It's a miracle. So yeah, and it probably, but I don't know so much about the other hormone treatment you have, but also hormones affect the body a lot. and you had the expensive ones, and you just stopped with it, and you had no problem at all. So it's amazing. It's I can't explain it.
I can.
Yeah.
This is your.
Yeah, but I'm the doctor, eh?
Well, I mean, let's quantify that as well. Els is a doctor who's also one of the advanced practitioners who's done level 12. So if anyone does want to book in with Els, she is obviously, she's a medical doctor, an occupational doctor, as well as a wizard.
Yeah.
So she's coming in from, it's really wonderful to have her as part of the team, because she obviously understands things fully in a medical perspective. And then she gets my wild brain who does,
understand it.
And then I do call upon her to translate medicine to me sometimes, because because I'm coming from an entirely different angle, and we were just talking about the what the difference between a benign and malignant tumor is, and it's that it's burst, intrinsically, and that's what it is, because it's capsulated. Benign tumor is capsulated; it's got a membrane around it, and then a malignant one is starting to spread. When it's cancerous, malignant just means cancerous, but it's literally enough of those thoughts, enough of that gas has gone in, or enough of the liquid's gone in, and to a solid thing that it's burst. And that's how it's starting to spread around the body. And that's the difference between benign and a malignant, according to my brain. But then actually, then Els was like, yeah, doctor's not necessarily going to agree or believe or understand that, but it fits my formula, so I'm keeping it. But does it make sense to someone who actually understands medicine? Kind of.
I usually can't talk to my colleagues. No, I when I'm in function, I do this, and then but when I talk to the people, I can't just function in the regular medicine as it is now. But I go beside and I talk to the people, and you might look at it this way or possibilities. So I open up people to look different at their health. Yeah. And it's just sometimes a bit risky, but I can't do different, because otherwise I wouldn't be faithful to myself. So that's what happens.
Yeah, very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they look at the whole person, they don't, they look at, okay.
It's compartmentalized massively.
Yeah.
And even medicine, it's even more like GPs used to do a little bit of everything. Now it's very specialized, just as it was.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
And just like you were telling about your symptoms about the thyroid function, you can diagnose on that, but they look at the numbers, and then you can have all the symptoms, but your numbers are good, so you don't have it.
Well, and this is the problem. That's why I had to go see a nurse practitioner who specialized. Yeah. Like I had to see specialized people. Yeah. Because GP says, "Oh, I look at your test. You're fine. You're fine." I'm like, "But I'm here because I'm not fine. I'm having problems." Yeah. But and they don't look at it. They go, "Oh, your numbers are good. So I'm not going to give you anything." So then I had to search. This is why it was so expensive in doing the supplements and doing the alternative. Very expensive.
But the doctors, they don't have time to talk to people. They have 10 minutes or something, and specialists, like if you for skin dermatology, somebody comes for a spot on the leg, and they say, oh, that's don't worry about that. But they see a spot on the cheek, and they have to make a new appointment because they can't do it in one session. So you have to go back, make an appointment. You really have to take care of this spot. They go crazy as well. Yeah. But they have the families, they have the mortgages, they have everything, and they just do it. And I don't know how they can keep on doing it, but they do.
It's broken.
Yeah, it's definitely broken. And, and the thing is, it's not, I think the best way to change things in the world is to offer a better alternative. It's not to smash things, it's to offer a better alternative and let people come at their own pace, and if we are building a new world, a better world, it is about creating it ourselves and then allowing people to come with us to do it. It's not about destroying anything, or that's not the best way to make things happen. Create a better product, and people come naturally, or a different product, or an alternative product, you know?
I think it's happening already. There are more doctors who asking questions at least.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing what they were told in medical school. They're doing everything, and their patients aren't getting better. And then you kind of go, well, maybe they're non-compliant. But after a while, and one of the doctors that I follow, he told his patients who were diabetic or pre-diabetic to follow a certain diet plan and exercise plan, and they were getting worse. So he just thought they were non-compliant until he became diabetic, and he followed his own advice, and he got worse. So he does a lot of videos.
Well, the keto diet's supposed to be very good for this sort of thing. So, if you are diabetic, then go and research that and find out. But the stuff that I've watched said that keto is very, very helpful for that, and not staying away from refined sugar and flour and things like that, and just going into keto or carnivore, lots of meat and vegetables, which I think is the best diet for everybody. Fruit, meat, natural food without having processed. The less processes, the better.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And I went carnivore 14 months ago after being vegetarian vegan for 10 years. So, that's 14 months, and I was still struggling until I saw you, Antonio. I mean, everything's just, I've continued on.
Yeah.
But I think the diet, the exercise, and then adding, I just giving my body the fuel it needs to heal, I think has been very important. And maybe that's why I've had such dramatic results, because I had already started cleaning up my diet for a long time, 11 months before.
Could be.
Yeah.
So that could be it, but it didn't all click until I had my session with you. That was the light switch.
That's what we want to hear.
But then I was doing the supplements. I was doing I wasn't doing the exercise. That I can't say I was doing. I mean, I was like, if exercise was going from the bedroom to the couch, that was my exercise.
I mean, that's just so profound, going from pretty much sort of house ridden to then just doing the amount of exercise that a university student would be proud of. I mean, one, people don't have as much free time as this, and I know you're retired, and that obviously gives you some freedom to be able to do it. But two, having the motivation to do it. There aren't that many people who would want to do as much exercise as you, unless they're training for a marathon or something pretty wild. You're just like little Miss Action Lady.
Well, but that's how I used to be. My body feels great when it moves. It does not feel good when it's not moving. The body, for me, has to move.
I think most people do. But they just get stuck, and you get stagnated, and it's harder. And then when you stop moving, it's harder to get moving again. So as soon as I start training, then I want to go train more. You get the buzz for it.
Yeah.
But if you're too tired, you can't do anything. You're just stuck.
And the best part is, like you said, you start training, you want to do more. But then if you're not, if you haven't done, ECR, the next day you're so sore for 3-4 days, you can't do anything.
I know. I agree.
I pop back up, and it's just like, let's do it again.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm doing double sessions in the gym. So I'm doing like a weightlifting class followed by a Pilates or a yoga class. And the next day I'm like, I can go again. And I'm going and doing it. And then after about 4 days in a row, I'm like, right. And then I'm feeling like I'm getting a bit run down. But I'm also downloading all these different energies and things like that. So I've got a lot of pressure on my body, bringing stuff in. And I'm like, okay, I can have a rest day. But I've done like 6 classes in 4 days. And then I probably should take a day off. And yeah, I should do that. And then I'm like, bing, again, ready to go. It's amazing.
Well, that's exactly how I feel. Like,
yeah.
Like if I had heard you, I'm sitting on the couch listening to you, and I go, that can't be real. That can't be real. And then I'm like, yes. What you're doing right now.
It does. It sounds like we're selling snake oil. And I think it's very important to be aware that it does sound like we're selling snake oil, because it's just the likelihood of this being true is low. I mean, really. And yet it is, and we've got the blood work to prove it, and we've got the results to prove it. But it does seem too good to be true, and I can understand people's apprehension in it. But there are a number of people who've had seemingly miraculous results, and it's just going on from here. The one from spring last week was just really profound, where her benign tumor was gone in 48 hours. What the actual?
I agree. That's just like,
amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like you say, what is the limit? I mean, we don't know what it's going to be.
I don't know. I just had a reading from someone who works with Lord Ashtar, and she was saying about, it's pretty profound, because it's this lady who's Romanian, and she works with Ashtar all the time. And so I have a link to Lord Ashtar. He's my guardian to help me. And I said, is there any message for me from Ashtar? And so she went and channeled him and came up with a message. And it's really interesting. She didn't know what she was saying because it was in Romanian, and then she had to translate it. And then she made a bit of an apology with it, saying, this doesn't make any sense to me. Does it make any sense to you? And I'm like, actually, yeah, I know what this is talking about. It's talking about photons in DNA. And there's actually, David Wilcox talks about this. The Loosh system, which is the emotional harvesting system, is around the DNA. So what happens is when you are upset, or people are throwing anger at you, or you're in a very emotional state, the strands of DNA unravel, and photons, which are particles of light, leak out. And when you're happy and healthy, what happens is the strands of DNA wind and heal. They've done this in labs. This is lab experiments to see what happens. But basically, enlightenment or enlightening is about light cultivation and not getting so triggered. And so that your DNA is wound and healed, and rather than leaking all the time, and then your vibration gets higher. So that's an interesting thing. And she was talking about that and not really knowing what she was talking about. But she's also saying next year, it's not going to be this year, about regrowing organs and transplants and stuff like that. And it was really interesting because, again, she doesn't really know about this stuff. She's not medical, and I'm just a massive geek, so I know about quite a lot of geeky things. The only organ, I hadn't considered this, the only organ that can regenerate in the human body is the liver. So what we do is we do a liver transplant, and they take it from someone who's alive, and they give the other person 2/3, half the liver, and then that person's liver then sort of joins up, and they put it together, and it regrows. And then the person who's done the donations liver will regrow within around a year or so. So that's how it works. It is the only organ that can regenerate. So Lord Ashtar is giving me tips on what to do to get this happening. And if we can get that regenerating, just think of how many people that would be very, very important for. There's a lot of people who are very, very sick and who are looking for transplants. So, I don't know exactly where this is going, but it's really interesting that we've got our cosmic friends saying and giving me hints towards this. It's not something I'm capable of doing at the moment, but it's a very interesting thing that maybe at some point it will happen. So, that's the next stage potentially. And, if we can recode things, then we can build things and do other things. So I don't know, but it's just a very exciting message that we've had. And it's really interesting because it just means that this lady is legit, because she's talking about things that she doesn't understand, which actually make absolute perfect sense to me. I'm going to get her on for a video as well and find out more about Ashtar, because I don't know that much about him, but he is literally my guardian after I've been attacked. And now I'm getting some advice about what to do with all this stuff. So it's exciting.
It is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're on the right path. I mean, when you've got Lisa's fingers that are being regrown, and you've got, Spring's testimonial, I think if anyone's going to crack the code, I think it's going to be you, Antonia.
I'm working on it.
And I think, anything's possible, especially after that Greg Braden video. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the other thing that I think we don't stress, or you don't stress enough, is it's so quick. What you're doing is so quick. I mean, it doesn't take
I mean, look, the thing is as well, with my stuff, it is always sped up because I have been doing the deleting emotions for 15 years plus. And, initially to delete some emotions, it used to take a really long time, and now it's getting faster and faster. And if the benign tumor is going in 48 hours, that was the first time I ever tried. So the first time I ever did it, it's the first time I ever tried, I literally pulled that energy in that day. So in the next few months, that's going to be a lot faster. And then maybe I'll get to the stage where they're doing that. I don't know. I can't make any promises on this, but it's already there. And it shows what the trajectory of it really, and I think at some point, well, that 3 minutes to get rid of the growth in that person's colon, it's entirely possible that that it will be instant, and that's my goal. It's been my goal. It's been a real, like, talk about ambition, instant healing of all disease. That's where that's what I've single-mindedly dogged, like, I'm gonna get there. So that's the plan.
You're making steps. Yeah,
you will.
You're making steps, fast steps. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
It's wild. And it's, I mean, I was just thinking this today. I was like, am I the most ambitious person on the planet? I've got to be one of them. Instant healing of all disease is a very, very odd, very, very like ambitious thing of doing it. And like the ambition isn't really around yachts and money and things like that. It's to solve this particular problem, which is seemingly unsolvable. And I'm like, I want that one. It's just, yeah. Completely mad.
He said the other day, nobody thought they could run a mile under a minute. The minute mile, until somebody broke that. But I mean, it was just not possible. So, what you're wanting to do seems impossible. But no one's thinking about that problem. Like, no one's thinking of how to solve that problem. And you are. You're like, yeah. Well, I want that problem. I'm going to figure that one out. But no one's going to try to attempt that because in their mind, it's impossible.
Well, there's an Audrey Hepburn, and I'm a fan of hers, quote, impossible, just if you spell it out, it says, I am possible.
Oh, yeah.
You break it down, I am possible. I'm like, yeah, Audrey, I love that. That's one of her quotes. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. And, you have to... I've got a particular energy system. It's not, it's not as easy as all that. And there's a lot of suffering and weirdness involved. But I don't know, maybe if you set your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Maybe that is true. If you are just completely obsessed, then most things happen the way that you wanted them to.
Well, I think it's true though. Your thoughts, what you're saying to yourself, makes a difference. You know? And
being relentless. I'm relentless at everything all the time, and I do,
Well, and that's one of the things that I had to think back of what the issues were I was having, because it's like I haven't thought about it. When you're not struggling with pain or things like the things that were holding me back. Like I said, it's moments like, being at the restaurant and everyone's pulling out their glasses to read the menu. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. You forget where you were. Yeah. And then I think that the talk, like, I'm like, well, I'm going for a bike ride. I mean, no one's telling me, oh, well, you're 59. You really shouldn't be cycling that much. I'm sorry. I feel like it. I'm going to do it. And, I don't let society's ideas stop me from doing what I want to do. No. I mean, when you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can, why not? You don't let those restrictions, or I don't go around like I don't like even say this, but I had thyroid problems. I hate even saying that. I don't feel like I have them. I feel
no. Well, you don't anymore. Your blood work's clear that you don't actually now, but you did, which is why you were on so many meds.
Yep. And still not feeling good after all that.
So they were stabilizing you. They were, stabilizing on the blood works, but you were still feeling dire. So, I mean, I shudder to think what you would have been without the meds, but they still weren't, pulling you up enough.
Yeah, but when you were out of the medicine, you had the symptoms. You were tired. The Mexico story.
Yeah.
So we're doing something.
They were helping, but they just weren't,
Not curing.
No.
Well,
And
no,
they don't
for
cure.
sure. But meds don't seek to cure.
No, they don't. No.
That's why I was so happy to get off of them right away.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
not allowed to ever use that word, by the way. That's one of the no words. I can never say that I can cure anything.
Okay, my personal story
Just
is
go away.
but I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm excited to where I'm gonna be in 6 months' time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be stopping. I mean, I keep noticing, like the last couple of days, I've noticed this line has gone down more, and my lips, like I was like today feeling like I had a duck bill because my lips were sticking out more than normal. I'm noticing changes in my face again, and I have that every few weeks. I'm like, ooh, I think I've got my face is looking younger again. So it just seems to be ongoing, and it is a pretty much of a wild ride. It doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. I don't know that it will. So it's, this is a one-hit wonder, which seems to be keeping going, and people are just getting better and better. So far, this is less than a year old.
Yeah.
But so far so good, and it just keeps on growing.
I think I'll get there too. It's just I'm doing some healing work on the inside. But when I go to market, I mean, I bumped into a relative, and she didn't say it to my face, but I found out from the other relative. She's like, Lise was looking really good, for your age. And then she noticed, like, my hands are looking really good. She's like, you don't have old people's hands, So there's little things, but when it's very subtle.
You have to work on that, Antonia, for me.
There you go.
I don't. Old people's hands.
But I'm thinking
the camera, right? But yeah.
Hands look like,
So yeah.
I have cat destroyed hands with loads of scratches. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But yeah,
what I want to say is that with the regeneration, the cellular energy, it stays. It's not just a moment. You gain and you stay at that level, and I think that's good to know. And if we do something, it sticks. It's not for a few days. It's
no.
there.
And it seems to be incrementally increasing anyway. It just seems that, it's filling things up, and then there's a next level, and then there's a next level, and then there's a next level. It just seems to be pretty,
it sticks.
Wild and profound.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's things like the bruising, like physically seeing it heal, like in like very real time. That's when I know it's still working. It's still working, and I'm still feeling great. I'm not like 100% there, but I mean, I'm not.
Well, it's different. It's different things. Like some of the things I think are probably, maybe the way that you're recovering from the bruising or recovering from DOMS. That's sort of the recovery of maybe a 20-year-old or somewhere in their 20s, I would think. Is that about right? Do you think else? Not having DOMS. Okay. Well, I just remember from my own personal experience, this is, in my 20s, if I was doing a load of exercise, I wouldn't have DOMS the next day. I think you start getting DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, like achy from training in the gym, or in your 20s or 30s. I think that's when it sort of starts. That's what happened to me. I don't know if that's accurate for everybody else, but that's sort of what happened to me. I think it's when you get to late 20s, 30s, that starts to happen. So you're having potentially the recovery that you had, of someone who's in their 20s. Which is pretty profound. And also and then it is really interesting when you twist your ankle or you bruise yourself. As you get older, the recovery time takes significantly longer. And now you're having the recovery from bruises as well in a much, much more expedited way. It's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Els wants to say something.
I was just thinking we have to monitor that. We don't know. It's supposedly it's like that, but how can we find out? Like we have the figures now on the chart. How do you find out?
I don't know, unless we go and go and injure people in their 20s.
You hit me on the head and you hit yourself on the head. And then we see.
I do that all by myself.
I'm not volunteering.
I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do a sample and to do it scientifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But maybe we'll have to make it more anecdotal.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there. We have the stories now. Yeah.
Well, it's just more and more, and it's and it's wonderful to have an update, and it's wonderful to have else to look at the blood work, because that's not my area of expertise. But intrinsically, nothing has happened when she should have really been on her knees. And the example in March of when she ran out of the meds, clearly shows that without these meds, you were not very operational, you weren't working very well. So as much as it was a kamikaze wild woman thing to come off, it's a bloody good story.
Well, my attitude was, if I had gone back, or I didn't, I still had them.
Yeah, sure.
So I thought, let's just, I mean, when you
and you would have known by the end of the day as well, and you'd have just gone, okay, this is going to a bit more of a slow burner. I'm just going to take the meds, and then that's not a problem. But yeah, I bet it's a great story. You're telling a great thing.
I thought it was that way with everybody. Like I didn't know.
No, it's because it's the embodied, like the system goes up, but then it's being embodied, and that takes a lot longer for most people. But you seem to embody it straight away, and maybe your faith, and your belief that it worked immediately actually sped things up. It's entirely possible that you ended up, because you believed it so powerfully, you might have just absorbed it more quickly. I don't know, but it's entirely possible that you supercharged your own healing.
Yeah.
Well, I believe in you, Antonia. I had to.
You had to.
The results are there. I mean, and I never, like I said, even that first bike ride, that was like, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I think that's when I emailed you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, I should never. A 20-minute bike ride, you work into cycling after, it probably been about 1.5 years since I'd cycled. I should have gradually got into it, but I mean, I'm in the next village. And I'm like, holy, 7 o'clock at night, it's already like just after 8. Like, what am I doing? Turn around, get back home, and then the next day I felt great. I'm like, this is wild, So that was like the first clue that something really, really. I mean, coming off the meds, one thing, but being able to have that energy and have it sustained was just unbelievable. I mean, it's just like
coming off the meds and then being able to do more than you've been able to do in several years. I mean, that's just a bam.
Yeah.
That's environment. You have a husband, don't you? How's he coping?
Yeah, your
wife, and slow down, and then can he cope?
He's not keeping up. Let's just say he's not keeping up. But he goes golfing every day, and he's doing his thing, and I do my thing. We work together. We're semi-retired, but I did a lot of physical work. We have rental properties. We've bought and sold many properties, and I do all the painting, the cleaning. I do some of the electrical. I do a lot of stuff. And every once in a while, my husband's like, "Well, help bring the drywall in, or let's, And I look at him and I go, I'm a woman, right? Like, you're asking me to do physical, manly things, heavy lifting, and I'm like, I'm a woman, right? Like, this is like not another guy. But I've always done a lot of physical work, and I've always tried to keep active so I could be able to do the stuff that's needed. So, but I mean, we're doing less and less of that. So we work a lot together, but we spend as much time as we spend together. We like to spend time apart. So he likes to go golfing, I like to go cycling. I'm trying to get him to join me in pickleball. So I don't know, we it works, but we do different things.
But now he's married a younger woman.
Yeah, I gotta start taking your courses up to level 12, but it's gonna take me a while. And you keep adding courses. I'm like, by time
every 5 months or so, I add an extra course. Oh, what? You don't want to be able to delete blimmin' tumors?
Well, I do. So yeah, I think and I was thinking, do I take the course or do I take, get the ECG, or what is it?
ECR.
ECR. And I'm thinking, oh, heck with it. Let's just get the ECR. Then I'll have time to do everything else.
Yeah, well, you've got more hours in the day, more days in the week. And then also your potential, when you've had the ECR, your potential to earn money has increased because you've got more hours in the day, more days in the week. So you can get more done.
Yeah.
And I feel great. Yeah.
But the whole thing is about, my job is not really working on people one-to-one. And I am working to price myself out of the market because my job is doing the R&D, research and development, and figuring all this stuff up. Out and making videos. I have to work out what I'm doing, and I want my practitioners like Els and all the other ones I've got on the website. They are designed to be doing the one-to-one work for ECR and all the other healing. That's what their job is. That's why they're much more affordable than I am, because I got other things to do. I've got to be pushing this out. I've got to bring this into the world, and I've got anyone who would like to share this is very helpful. Because we've got 3,000 people on YouTube, but this needs to be out. People need to know that this exists, because it could potentially improve people's lives exponentially. So it just needs to get out. So that's what my focus is. It's not working on people one-to-one. It's getting this work into the world so people know that it exists and that their quality of life can change quite dramatically. So, and I want a lot more practitioners. I need lots of warrior angels, badass wizards who can then go and do this sort of work, because it's amazing that I can do it, but I teach it. And then I just sort of like, they can do everything that I can do.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's the point though. And you know what, initially that was pretty like, I don't feel special anymore because I've taught these people, and like there's a bit of an ego thing that you need to go through of actually surrender and actually this is for the greatest good of humanity. And it's not important whether I want to be the best one. That's stupid, because we want everyone to be able to experience this. And there's just too much work, and I can't work on 8 billion people. I need a huge team of people behind me who can go and change people's lives. And that's the point. It's not about the Antonia show. This is why I don't call it Antonia Harmon. I call it divine empowerment. I'm trying to back away and make myself the face of it, but get everyone else to be doing the work, helping all the people. That's what I've got. I'm too busy with R&D. I need to push this out. I need to figure out how to fix these other things and to just get the word out. So yeah, book in with my practitioners. They're brilliant. That's why they're my practitioners.
Good recommendation.
Yeah. And if you want a doctor, you've got Els. We've got, a number of them are also nurses and Chinese doctors and things like that. We've got a really, quite a high percentage of my team, of my practitioners are medical. I think it's about a third have got some sort of medical understanding, as well as healing modalities as well. But we've got a number of them are actually formerly nurses and doctors in Chinese medicine. And, they've got a lot of credentials and a lot of studying.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Because I think that's important, and it's really helpful for me as well, because I need to bounce ideas around. I just pull in wild ideas. And I don't, and I need a team of people that I can go, how does this work? I'm thinking it's like this. And then everyone comes together, and it's a collaboration of a lot of people's wisdoms, because goodness, I've got some great resources, and it does work out together. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah. All righty. Let's leave it there. What is it? Does anyone want to say anything to close?
No, just that I feel fantastic, and you know what? I just feel like it's just going to get better and better. I just feel like I'm improving all the time. I can't express it more than that. But I just feel good, and every day I feel better, and I just see progress. I just don't see myself sliding back.
Yeah.
So, and I hope that this helps someone who's watching, because again, I did follow you for a while, and I listened to other people's testimonials, and it took me a while to actually do a session with you, and I hope it helps someone else. That's why I'm doing it. But again, it was Karen and Lisa, and there's fantastic testimonies, but you got to find that person that resonates, that has the symptoms that you can relate to, and I'm hoping that helps someone else.
Yeah.
and maybe not do what I did, but you know, it worked for me. I'll just put that disclaimer.
I'm tooting it worked for you.
It did.
Uh-oh. I just had a lot of fun listening to you, Lise, with your story and your enthusiasm. And yeah.
She's infectious, isn't she? It's a lot of enthusiasm. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful to be as alive as you are, even at any age. You're just vitality in life.
Yeah.
Like most people as they age are just almost half living. They just don't feel very alive. You just feel full of life, which is just really cool and really fun.
It is.
Yeah. I feel like I said, I feel fantastic.
She goes again.
You know what?
He's like a puppy.
I look at what people do, and I see people who are doing something right, and I want to learn from them. I think curiosity has always been my thing. And I was talking to this older lady. She was probably in her late 80s, and she was just full of vitality. And I'm like, "What's your secret?" I'm always asking, like, give me advice. Like, what's your secret? She says, Lise, she says, don't hang out with old people. And I said, really? She says, yeah, you get with old people. She says, well, their knee hurts and this, that. She says, hang out with young people. And you know what? She's right.
Yeah. There's truth in it. Yeah.
Right?
And that's Lisa's.
You know, so that's my advice to everybody listening. You want to be old, hang out with old people. You want to feel young, do young stuff. Hang out with young people. It's really amazing.
Well, on that note, words of wisdom from Lise today.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. That was a wonderful, wonderful interview, and I appreciate you both. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.